Hi guys, welcome to the video. In this one, I'm going to be cleaning this, my Audi A4 B5. So whilst these before shots are playing, I'll give you guys some background on this car. It used to be my daily driver 2 or so years ago, but I took it off the road in order to do some work to it, and unfortunately it sat a lot longer than I thought it would whilst I got on with some of my other project cars. I recently did a revival series featuring this car on the channel, and you can click in the top right corner to catch that. It required a fair amount of work, but it's now roadworthy and it now just needs a very significant clean. So please enjoy watching that as it happens, and if you're enjoying the video, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. So because of all the dirt that built up from this car sitting, I first went round and sprayed the whole car with a pre-wash solution before I hit it with a jet wash in order to soften up that dirt so it would come off easier. So now all the loose surface dirt is blasted off, I moved on to the wheels. These have quite a bit of corrosion on them that has eaten into the paintwork, causing it to flake off a bit, so they won't look 100% when they're finished, but I'm hoping that they can look significantly improved. The tyre, rim and inner arch are going to get a coating of degreaser first. I work this with a variety of different brushes, and then I wash it off, and then I go over the rim again using a fallout remover to loosen some of the more stubborn iron deposits. Next, I coat the car in snowfoam and use a detail brush to help shift dirt from the window seals, door handles, around trim, badges, basically anywhere where a wash mitt will struggle to get into. For the contact wash, I'm using the 2-bucket method, 1 bucket with soap foamed by the jet wash and another with just clean water in, and I rinse the mitt out after roughly every panel. Not that it's really going to hugely matter on a car of this age, which is getting some paint correction anyway, but it does help instill less scratches than it would otherwise, and it doesn't really add a lot of time to the wash process. So after washing and once I'd rinsed the car, I realised there was still quite a lot of contaminants left stuck in the paintwork, so I foamed the car again and went over the whole car with a clay bar. So with the car all washed and dried now, it was time to bring it inside and start on the interior. I started by removing all of the rubbish that I'd left inside of it. There was quite a lot. And then I moved on to the floor mats, started hoovering those and getting them ready for extraction. As you may have seen in the intro, there's a lot of mould in the interior. An old school valeter told me to try using white vinegar to neutralise the mould, so I sprayed this on the inside of the door to check if it would work and not stain the plastic, and I left it to sit there while I did the floor mats. So with these floor mats, these are like the cheapest ones you can get off of eBay. I remember buying them and there was something like 14 quid for like fitted floor mats. They are not a very good material, quite difficult to actually get all of the dirt out. I spent a lot of time sort of scrubbing them with a brush, as you can see in there, just to try and like bring some of the dirt up to the surface, but it's just all embedded in there. So these probably are going to be one of my first things to replace, but as they're kind of still working for now, I've just got them as clean as I possibly can. So the white vinegar seemed to do the trick and remove the mould. It did leave some staining, but after doing the rest of the car, I think this actually might have been because I left it to sit because nowhere else got stained. But at the time I thought I'd rather have stained plastics than mouldy ones anyway, so I just went around the whole interior treating it with the white vinegar. These seat belts were particularly bad, and I wasn't actually very hopeful that these would come up very nice. I was expecting maybe I might have to go out and buy some from a breaker's yard, but they did come up okay in the end, so I was quite happy about that. So now that the whole car stinks of vinegar, it was time for me to start vacuuming the interior, ready for me to extract the seats. So I knew for a fact that most of the stains in this seat were oil or grease based because they're from me working as a mechanic and then getting in this car to go home. So I used a combination of both upholstery cleaner and degreaser to get those stains lifted. So this driver's side carpet had a lot of tears and rips in it and wasn't particularly well down still. So I made sure not to oversaturate this whilst I was actually extracting it. So I went round with an interior cleaner and cleaned all of the interior plastics here using a brush and a microfiber towel. But I was quite annoyed at how much of what I thought was actually going to clean off was in fact just damage to these panels, which was a little bit annoying, but I suppose it's sometimes what happens when you clean a car that's been very neglected for a while. With all the interior plastics now cleaned, it was time to dress them with a plastic dressing. This one's vanilla scented, so I was hoping that might help to cover up some of the smell of vinegar. So for this one, I knew I wasn't going to get a perfect finish because the car is nearly 200,000 miles. It's over 20 years old. It's not in great condition. There's rust around the place. So what I wanted to do was just restore quite a bit of gloss back to the paint and also remove some of the lighter defects in the hope that this will just make it look a lot better from, say, 5 to 10 feet away. So a huge bit of advice to anyone polishing their car, I would say, is to definitely tape off any plastic trims that you have around, like black plastic trims, like the unpainted type. And it only takes 5 to 10 minutes to go around with some masking tape and tape all of those off, and then you just don't get the residue in them, and you don't have to go and try and clean them off and get that white polish residue out of them. So it's much easier, just tape them off. It takes 5-10 minutes, and then you don't have to worry about it. So now that I was done polishing, I went around and removed the tape, and then I also used a panel wipe on all the panels to try and remove any polish residue that might be left behind before I apply a wax. So it's now time for me to dress the tyres and the trims. There was this one bit of trim on the passenger door which had been hanging off for ages and ages, and I just thought now's the time for me to try and sort this, so I just glued it back on and clamped it in place. For areas that are difficult to get into with the applicator pad, I tend to use a spray trim dressing. These can sometimes be quite shiny, so I normally just dab these down straight after application to give them more of a matte/satin finish. So the last thing I'm doing here is glass cleaning. I generally tend to apply the glass cleaner directly to the towel, and I use 2 waffle weave towels as to avoid any streaks. One is to apply the actual glass cleaner to the glass, and the other is to wipe off the residue. Once it was all finished, I was fairly happy with the outcome considering the age and the mileage, really. The interior was in worse shape than I thought, to be honest, with some gouges, scratches to the plastic. However, the exterior, I feel, has come up really well. Other than the rust spots on the boot and the dents in the passenger side, I think it does look quite presentable. And the overall transformation from this being a sitting car with all the mechanical problems to this, I'm very happy with. So those of you that haven't watched the revival videos on this car, please do check those out. You'll get to see it from a sitting car to mechanically fine to, well, now you see it as it's a completely clean car. So if you've enjoyed this, please do like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.